Imagine you are a medical researcher pouring years of effort into developing a groundbreaking drug. Each experiment, each calculation, holds the tantalizing promise of discovery, until, as often happens, the results come back inconclusive. Initially, your results leave you dejected, but driven by hope and determination, you decide to dig deeper, running additional tests until you finally uncover a statistically significant effect. The treatment reduces headache symptoms in patients. A victory, right? Not quite. This scenario highlights a pervasive issue in scientific research known as the look elsewhere effect, a phenomenon that has far-reaching consequences for scientific integrity. The look elsewhere effect arises when researchers unintentionally misinterpret statistical tests, often fueled by inherent cognitive biases. Historical examples further illustrate the dangers of the look elsewhere effect. Consider the infamous Bible Code controversy, where researchers claim to have found predictive messages hidden within the book of Genesis. By selectively analyzing every fifth letter of the text, they identified patterns that appeared to reveal names and dates of historical figures. However, given the vast dataset and flexibility of the analysis, these discoveries were nothing more than statistical coincidences, a textbook case of the look elsewhere effect. It's something that poses a serious challenge not only to individual scientific studies, but to the credibility of entire fields of research. The stakes are particularly high in disciplines like medicine and psychology, where the replication crisis, a failure to reproduce results consistently, has laid bare the vulnerabilities of scientific methods. Replication is the cornerstone of scientific progress. It tests the reliability of findings by repeating studies under similar conditions. Yet, replication rates in some fields are alarmingly low, with medicine seeing successful replication in around 25% of cases. This crisis shakes the public's trust in science and impedes the advancement of knowledge, making it vital to understand the mechanics of the look elsewhere effect and how to combat it. At its core, the look elsewhere effect is a statistical pitfall. Researchers typically use experiments to test hypotheses by comparing outcomes between groups, such as a treatment group versus a control group. A key tool in their arsenal is the concept of statistical significance, often represented by a p-value. This value estimates the likelihood that an observed effect occurred purely by chance. For a result to be deemed significant, the p-value must fall below a predetermined threshold, for example, suggesting that less than a 5% probability that the result is coincidental. However, even with rigorous controls, randomness can skew results. Imagine serving samples of mint chocolate chip ice cream at a parlor. Most scoops will contain chocolate chips, but occasionally, a scoop might consist of pure mint due to uneven distribution. Similarly, a small unrepresentative sample in a scientific study can yield misleading results. The problem is compounded when researchers conduct multiple statistical tests on the same dataset. This practice, known as the problem of multiple comparisons, inflates the likelihood of detecting false positives, results that seem significant but are mere statistical noise. Each additional test increases the odds of stumbling upon an apparent effect that is nothing more than coincidence. While statistical corrections can mitigate this risk, their application is not universal, and the temptation to explore multiple avenues often proves irresistible. Adding to the complexity, human cognitive biases exacerbate the look elsewhere effect. Scientists, despite their expertise, are not immune to mental shortcuts and flawed reasoning. Optimism bias, for instance, can skew judgment by emphasizing positive outcomes over negative ones. This bias, while generally beneficial for mental well-being, can lead researchers to overlook inconclusive results in favor of pursuing more exciting findings. Another cognitive trap, effort justification, arises when people place undue value on projects they've invested significant time and energy into. The desire to salvage a project can push researchers to keep testing, searching desperately for significance even when none exists. The pressure to publish further drives the problem. In academia, success is often measured by the quantity of papers produced and the impact of their findings. Null results, those that fail to show statistical significance, are frequently dismissed as unworthy of publication. In a publish or perish culture, this bias against null results discourages researchers from acknowledging their initial outcomes and incentivizes them to look elsewhere for statistically significant findings. The so-called file drawer problem, where null results are tucked away and forgotten, perpetuates a distorted scientific record. As a result, the literature becomes flooded with seemingly significant findings that, when scrutinized, fail to hold up. The implications of the look elsewhere effect are profound. Beyond jeopardizing individual careers, it undermines the foundations of scientific inquiry. The replication crisis has exposed the fragility of many widely accepted concepts, eroding trust in experts at a time when misinformation is rampant. In psychology, for example, studies suggest that up to half of published research may not be replicable. Such revelations cast doubt on the reliability of science, leaving the public skeptical of even well-established findings. Nevertheless, solutions are emerging to counteract these issues. One promising approach is the pre-registration of studies. By submitting a research plan in advance, including a detailed outline of hypotheses and statistical methods, researchers commit to a predefined course of action. This reduces the temptation to deviate from initial plans in search of significant results, thereby minimizing the risk of false positives. Similarly, encouraging the publication of null results could help address the file draw problem, ensuring a more balanced and accurate scientific record. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.